Hello everyone, Tom with Capo Fetish. Today we're going to talk about our favorite Dylan covers. I went online before the video started and indeed Dylan is still the most covered artist in music history. It's mind-blowing how many people have covered his tunes over the past 6 decades or so, each contributing their own interpretation of a Dylan song. So many great versions out there. How do you even pick, right? So I've chosen quite a few here. I'm going to go over them right now. And one of my favorites here to start off this list is off Rod Stewart's Gasoline Alley album from 1970, track titled Only a Hobo. This is a track that was originally slated for the Times or a Changin' album. It became an outtake. It was only first featured on the Bootleg Series Volume 1 back in 1991. Dylan's version is great, but Rod Stewart's version on Gasoline Alley, to me, is the definitive version of this song. It's just so heartfelt. Ronnie Wood's kind of understated playing, always tasty, always such tasteful playing. You've got Rod Stewart's really heartfelt vocal. It's just fantastic. There's some great slide in there for Ronnie as well. Always am very moved when I hear this track, and it's on just a perfect record, too. One of Rod Stewart's greatest albums. From 1970, Only a Hobo from Rod Stewart. Another favorite of mine has always been the Turtles' version of It Ain't Me, Babe, a song that was originally on Another Side of Bob Dylan from 1964. This is just a kind of a standard greatest hits record of the Turtles I picked up years ago from Rhino Records. But this was one of the Turtles' first hits. I believe it was a top 20 hit, a couple of years even prior to Happy Together. And I love their kind of folky rock version of It Ain't Me, Babe. We got Mark Volman on vocals. I love his vocals, by the way. They're so smooth and so nice. So another favorite of mine has always been It Ain't Me, Babe from the Turtles. Another favorite, too, is from Thunderclap Newman's Hollywood Dream, a song that was recorded during the Basement tapes with the band. If you have that box set of the Basement tapes, there's so many different versions of songs. Several versions of this track. Open the Door, Homer, from Hollywood Dream from 1969. No, this is 1970. Love this version if you've never heard it. Speedy Keen on vocals. Another just fantastic Dylan cover, completely transcends the original. Open the Door, Homer from Thunderclap Newman from the Hollywood Dream album. And of course, we got to throw Hendrix in there, right? Probably one of the most definitive Dylan covers of all time, all along the Watchtower from Electric Ladyland. We've got Dave Mason on acoustic guitar starting it off. This completely transcends the original. For me, this is the definitive version of All Along the Watchtower. I think even Dylan agrees on that. And so many people have used this particular arrangement for their versions over the years. And then while we're talking about Hendrix, there's a oddball compilation that came out in the late 90s called South Saturn Delta. And it has this really cool version of Drifter's Escape, a track that was originally featured on the John Wesley Harding album. If you've never heard this version of Hendrix, this is really an oddball compilation. Just a lot of, there's been so many posthumous Hendrix recordings, right? If you go on Ultimate Classic Rock, that channel, they have a whole section dedicated to all the posthumous Hendrix albums released. I think there's like over 100 or maybe even 150 or something. It's outrageous. But this one's an odd one, but I think it's worth buying just for the version of Drifter's Escape. It just rocks. It's always been one of my favorite Dylan tracks and off one of my favorite Dylan albums, John Wesley Harding. So check that out if you've never heard it, Drifter's Escape from Hendrix. From the First Faces album called First Step, there's an incredible track that starts off the album. Another great track that was originally featured on John Wesley Harding. I'm talking about the song Wicked Messenger. Starts off with this great organ intro, kicks off, very raw version with a very early raw Rod Stewart vocal and some stellar work from Ronnie Wood as always. Wicked Messenger from the Small Faces off the First Step album is a great lead-off track. Of course, we cannot mention Dylan without mentioning the Byrds. How do you even pick your favorite Byrds Dylan cover? I'll mention a few here. Of course, we got to mention Mr. Tambourine Man, the iconic track that went to #1 in '65, but there's so many other great ones on here. Chimes of Freedom, absolutely stellar. We've got All I Really Want to Do, which was another single released after Mr. Tambourine Man. You have Spanish Harlem Incident, another track off Another Side of Bob Dylan. All great tunes. You've got Lay Down Your Weary Tune, which was another track off the Times Are A-Changin' album. I love their version here. Those harmonies are amazing. I think one of the best versions of this Wheels on Fire is off Dr. Birds and Mr. Hyde. Has that kind of psychedelic tinge to it, and you've got some stellar guitar work from Clarence White. It's just so amazing, and those backup vocals really takes you somewhere. But if I had to pick, well, a couple more actually. Sweetheart of the Rodeo has a couple of my favorites too as well. You Ain't Going Nowhere and Nothing Was Delivered, both bookending the whole album. You Ain't Going Nowhere starting the album off, and then Nothing Was Delivered ending this perfect album. But if I had to pick my absolute favorite Byrds cover, it has to be My Back Pages. So moving, so perfect. Those backup vocals. I heard Crosby didn't even want to cover this song, but I think it's just one of the greatest Dylan covers of all time. Roger McGuinn's incredible vocal, those chimey guitars, and those just timeless harmonies. Just love My Back Pages. That's my favorite Byrds Dylan cover of all time. Duane Allman and Johnny Jenkins do an incredible version of Down Along the Cove on the Duane Allman Anthology. Another track off John Wesley Harding. They really rev this thing up, give it a lot of boogie, give it a lot of blues. It's fantastic if you've never heard it. This is a fantastic compilation too from Duane Allman, featuring just tons of great material throughout his short career. Some songs recorded with Aretha Franklin. Of course, there's some Allman Brother tracks on here. If you've never had this album, pick it up. It's definitely a must-have. But I love the version of Down Along the Cove by Duane Allman and Johnny Jenkins. It's fantastic. Another great one off the Super Session album from Bloomfield, Cooper, and Stills is their version of It Takes a Lot to Laugh. It Takes a Train to Cry, song from Highway 61 Revisited. Short and sweet, really cool vibe. Love this version. Another great one is off the Easter Everywhere album from the 13th Floor Elevators. They do a really cool version of It's All Over Now, Baby Blue, a song that was originally on the Bringing It All Back Home album. This is a great version here. I was listening to this a few weeks ago. Just has this great flow to it and this great vibe. Another one too of Johnny Winter's second Winter album. I've always loved Johnny Winter's version of Highway 61 Revisited. Just rocks, and that slide guitar playing. Guy is so underrated. He needs to be talked about more when it comes to great blues guitar players. Here's the album. The track is Highway 61 Revisited. There's an incredible version. If you've ever seen the 30th anniversary of Bob Dylan concert at the Madison Square Garden, there's Neil Young in there and Chrissie Hynde and a slew of just a cast of just legends playing. He does the version on that live clip of Highway 61 Revisited, and he just tears up the place. It's just fantastic. Another great one, too. It's really, no pun intended, off the Faithful album by Todd Rundgren. He does a faithful version of Most Likely You Go Your Way, I'll Go Mine. And off the first side of this album, he does a lot of really cool tracks. He does Happenings 10 Years Time Ago by the Yardbirds. He does Strawberry Fields Forever. He does Most Likely You'll Go Your Way, I'll Go Mine from Blonde on Blonde. And I love his version. It doesn't really stray that far from the Blonde on Blonde version, but he does a great version here. Todd Rundgren from the album Faithful. If you have the CD version of I Got Them Old Cosmic Blues Again, Mama from Janis Joplin, there's a bonus cut on here of her doing this version of Dear Landlord from John Wesley Harding that is just fantastic. I think Janis could sing just about any type of track and it would sound amazing, and this is no different from any other song she does as far as that quality, that soul, that feeling. Dear Landlord, bonus track off I Got Them Old Cosmic Blues Again, Mama from Janis Joplin is a fantastic cover. Check it out if you've never heard it. Off the Mad Dogs and Englishmen album from Joe Cocker. Joe Cocker and Leon Russell trade off vocal lines in a version of Girl from the North Country, which is really short and sweet. Very beautiful rendition. Love that track. Off the Jeff Beck Group album. I think this is his this is the Jeff Beck album after Ronnie Wood left and Rod Stewart. They do a really scorching version of Tonight I'll Be Staying Here With You, a track that was originally on the Nashville Skyline album. This is off the Jeff Beck Group album. We've got these really gritty, very gritty vocals from a guy named Bob Tench. Really lifts it off into the stratosphere. Really great version of Tonight I'll Be Staying Here With You, Jeff Beck Group, self-titled album. Another all-time favorite Dylan cover of mine is the Mighty Quinn from Manfred Mann. This is some oddball Best of Manfred Mann collection I picked up from a Rhino Records parking lot sale back in the mid-'80s. Back in the day, Rhino Records back in the 80s, when records were kind of fading out, going through their kind of fade-out period, Rhino Records a few times a year would have these huge parking lot sales where they'd have albums for 23 cents, and this is one of them. And back to the subject at hand here. I love this poppy version of Manfred Mann's The Mighty Quinn, another song that was originally recorded with the band during the Basement Tapes era. Fantastic hit single. A beautiful rendition of I'll Take It With Mine, I'll Keep It With Mine, a song that too wasn't released until the Bootleg series in 1991. A song that was originally recorded in '65, but never released until that particular compilation. Fairport Convention, this album right here, originally titled What We Do on Our Holidays. That was the UK version. This is the US version, just titled Fairport Convention. The first album done with Sandy Denny on lead vocals. She does the most beautiful rendition of I'll Keep It With Mine. It's the last track on side one. Gorgeous, gorgeous track. Just about anything Sandy Denny sings is so beautiful. She just lifts it into a whole different realm. It's fantastic. Check it out if you haven't heard it. I'll Keep It With Mine from Fairport Convention. If you have the UK version of What We Did on Our Holidays, or if you have the self-titled US version, just titled Fairport Convention. Another all-time favorite of mine, too, is off George Harrison's All Things Must Pass album. His version of If Not For You, a song originally on the New Morning album from Bob Dylan from 1970. Here is the definitive version, in my opinion. And while we're speaking of this album, there's a co-write on here with Dylan called I'd Have You Anytime, which starts off side one, which is absolutely gorgeous and perfect as well. But If Not For You, to me, this is the definitive version of that track. Just fantastic. That little slide guitar part in there. And then last but not least, from the band's Music from Big Pink, just a gorgeous rendition of I Shall Be Released, another Basement Tapes era song, sung beautifully by Richard Manuel. So much heart put into that tune. Ends the album on a really nice note. So there you go, my friends. Those are some of my favorite Dylan covers. What are your favorite Dylan covers? Put them in the comments section. As always, I thank you so much for watching. If you dig the content, just press that little subscribe button, and we'll see you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.